What if people aren't pulling away from you, but they're reacting to you? Not because something's wrong with you, but because your habits are difficult to be around. Most people won't tell you that, but they will distance themselves. And then you're left there confused, wondering, what changed? We're going to get into some behaviors that, if we're honest, are annoying and can make it a little hard to be around. This isn't about changing who you are as a person, but it is about understanding how seemingly small behaviors can lead other people to feel dismissed, frustrated, or even overwhelmed by your habits. I can't stress enough that I have done every single one of these things, and unfortunately continue to do some of them to this day, like hijacking conversations. Someone starts to tell a story, and then somewhere along the way you're like, oh my gosh, yes, that happened to me too. Before you know it, you're sharing your own experience. In your mind, you're thinking, I'm just relating to what they're telling me. But if you really are just relating, then ask yourself, why is it that you're the one who keeps ending up at the center of every story? The way you see it, y'all are bonding. But to the other person, when we steer conversations back to ourselves, it makes them feel ignored, invalidated, and as if we view whatever they're trying to communicate as less important than our own experience. And maybe we do feel that way from time to time, but bonding doesn't mean taking over. We don't always know where a conversation is going, and there are moments when someone might be trying to reveal something that's actually pretty difficult to say. A lot of us know that it's disappointing to muster the courage to say something hard, only for it to get cut short. It feels lonely. So over time, people stop sharing vulnerable parts of themselves. Sometimes connecting isn't about how fast you can relate. It's simply about letting someone finish without turning their story into your own. But it doesn't stop there. Because some of us don't just hijack conversations. We drag them out by over-explaining. You're telling a story, but you don't feel like you're explaining it well. So you keep going. More context, more details, because you really want to make sure they get it. But there's a point in which you're not clarifying anymore. You're overcorrecting. And if you feel like you have to keep talking, that's probably where you should have stopped. Meanwhile, the person that you're tormenting probably understood what you were trying to say the first time and has been waiting for you to stop ever since. From their perspective, when we talk in circles, we're basically saying, you're not getting it. So let me say it again, but just in a slightly different way. You have no idea how badly I want to continue on with this topic, but then I'd be over-explaining. So if that's not your issue, exhausting people with how long you talk, you might be exhausting them with how loud you are. Some of my sweet babies out there, you're loud. You're just loud. You could be at a library, you could be at a sporting event. It doesn't matter. You will not regulate your volume. My voice carries. Okay. That just means you have to work a little more. If you're someone who is loud and doesn't tweak their volume, it can be very distracting and disruptive for the people that are nearby, or people that aren't even nearby. And if you notice that people tend to look around when you're talking to them, it's probably not because they're distracted. It's because your volume is drawing attention they don't want. You're not just being heard, you're overstimulating the room. And other people will respond to that by distancing themselves. This isn't about shrinking yourself. It's about being respectful of other people you're sharing a space with. Maybe your voice isn't loud, but your timing could be off. As someone who has been known to interrupt, we don't mean any harm by it. We might interrupt because we're excited or passionate about the subject matter. Maybe you can relate to what the other person's saying. Or you have 10 different thoughts that are related, semi-related, and truthfully unrelated. But the person did say something that reminded you of the unrelated thing, and now you want to share it. Some of us seem to think that if we add a, oh, sorry, quick question, or sorry to interrupt, but that it makes up for the repetitive interruptions altogether. It doesn't. Sometimes we do need clarification in a story, otherwise we're going to be lost. But I'm talking about ongoing interferences filled with questions and comments that, if we're being real, they can wait. To us, it feels like I'm really contributing to this conversation. But the reality is, we're dominating it. And the other person is sitting there like, I can't even get a sentence out. Eventually, do you know what happens? They start only giving bullet points. Not because they don't have more to say, but because they don't feel like fighting for time to say it. And it doesn't mean that they don't like you anymore. You just won't shut up. Well, they should take it as a compliment that I'm interrupting them. Some of you guys actually say this. They should take it as a compliment that I'm interrupting them because it shows that I care about the conversation. If I'm not interrupting, that means I'm not paying attention, guys. People do not want to feel as if it is a battle every time they want to tell you something. It's frustrating to them. I would know. People have gotten really frustrated with me. Obviously, we have loved ones where there's a mutual understanding of, I'm going to speak over you and you are free to do the same to me. Unfortunately, that kind of relationship does not extend across every social interaction we have. So we need to wait our turn to speak, even if it's killing us inside. If you're not cutting people off, you could be cutting the moment short in a different way by turning everything into a joke. Everything is a joke to you. You are just so funny. No matter where you are or what you're doing, there's a joke to be made. People who are uncomfortable in serious moments want to escape that discomfort as soon as possible, so they look for a way to reduce or deflect from the gravity of the situation. Oh, I'm just trying to lighten the mood. No, it's not time for that. And you're unintentionally coming off as inconsiderate. When there's a serious situation and you respond by doing a stand-up set, it comes off as dismissive. And if you do have a tendency of turning everything into a joke, you're teaching people that there's nothing about you that feels serious enough to open up to. I am not anti-humor. I truly believe it can be so healing and one of the best parts of being social. And everything doesn't have to be serious. But when you use it to dodge real moments and you do it over and over again, people will stop coming to you with anything that matters. Y'all, it really doesn't take long for people to notice this last one, and that's some of you guys are not listening. Be so real, you're not listening, myself included. You ask questions that have been answered more than once. You try to listen, but there's that whole attention span thing, so you just kind of bop in and out. Without fail, you miss something vital. So then you have to ask, wait, what? I'm sorry, can you repeat that? And then the other person has to decide if it's even worth repeating. Even if you're not trying to annoy someone, that doesn't change how it feels on the receiving end. Bouncing in and out of conversations, it's convenient for you, but when you frequently ask people to repeat themselves and you don't have difficulty hearing or there aren't any speech challenges, etc., you are implying that what they are saying is not worthy of your full attention. And sometimes it's not. But regularly not listening when someone is speaking can make them feel overlooked, insignificant, and as if they are simply background noise to you, even if you don't mean it that way. So, if you actually are listening and are thinking to yourself, I definitely do one or more of these things. Yeah, same. We don't need to change everything about who we are, but we should be cognizant of how our habits are affecting other people. Because relationships typically don't fade in an instant due to a single moment. It's usually the small, annoying, repetitive behaviors that push people away. And while they probably won't tell us directly, they will quietly withdraw themselves from us by sharing less and engaging less. Our intentions do matter, but so does impact. On the bright side, everything we discussed can be changed, or at least noticeably improved. I want to know about your annoying habits. Did we talk about them here, or are you doing something else that's annoying people? Let me know. If you enjoyed the episode, please like and subscribe on YouTube. Leave a 5-star rating on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. You can also follow me on Instagram and TikTok at versionsofourselvespod, and I'll talk to you later.